Ties. Have you ever wondered how even the tiniest act of kindness can wake up the biggest courage inside us? Well, let me tell you a tale that begins deep in a sun-soaked forest where every creature whispered stories carried by the warm breeze. Today's story is about a lion whose roar shook the trees, a mouse whose squeak could barely be heard, and a bear who loved sleeping more than honey. But beneath their different sizes and sounds lay something magical waiting to unfold. So, lean in, listen closely, and let's step into this enchanted forest together, because what happens next just might surprise you. One bright afternoon, when the sun sprinkled golden patches across the forest floor, the lion stretched lazily under his favorite acacia tree. He yawned loudly, showing off his shining teeth, while birds flew above him in wide circles. He was the king of the forest, strong and majestic, and every animal respected his mighty presence. But even kings get bored, and today, the lion was extremely bored, so he flicked his tail, rolled onto his belly, and decided to wander through the tall grass in search of something interesting to do. Meanwhile, not far away, a tiny mouse scampered through the forest in a hurry. The mouse was always busy, always curious, and always looking for crumbs of adventure. While racing through the leaves, the mouse didn't notice that he was running straight toward the lion's enormous paw. Before he realized it, he bumped into the lion's leg and tumbled backward. The lion lifted his head, narrowed his eyes, and stared at the trembling mouse. "Who dares bump into the king of the forest?" The lion growled, not angry but definitely annoyed. The mouse gulped hard and squeaked, "I'm so very sorry, Your Majesty. I was rushing and didn't see you there." The lion lowered his paw over the mouse, trapping him in a fuzzy cave of golden fur and shadow. "You're so tiny," the lion said, "I could swallow you in one bite." The mouse shivered but mustered his courage. "If you let me go, mighty lion, I promise that one day I will help you. I know I'm small, but even small creatures can be useful." At that, the lion threw back his head and laughed a deep, echoing laugh that scared away the nearby birds. "You, help me." That's the funniest thing I've heard all week. But the lion wasn't cruel, and the mouse seemed sincere. So, he lifted his paw, nudged the mouse forward, and said, "Go on, little one. Run home before I change my mind." The mouse squeaked a grateful thank you and disappeared into the grass. The lion shook his head, still chuckling to himself, and continued his stroll through the forest. Days passed, and the forest remained peaceful until one late morning when a heavy thud echoed through the valley. Every creature froze. Even the trees seemed to stop rustling. A massive bear bigger than any bear the forest had ever seen had wandered in from the mountains. But this was no ordinary bear. This bear loved sleeping more than breathing. He was known among travelers as the sleepy bear because he could fall asleep anywhere and everywhere and everywhere. And when he slept, nothing could wake him. Not noise, not shaking, not even the sun beating on his fur. Right now, the sleepy bear had collapsed in the middle of the lion's hunting path, snoring so loudly that the insects fled from the vibrations. The lion arrived at the scene and stared in disbelief. "Move, bear," he commanded. But the sleepy bear just kept snoring, curled in a giant fluffy ball, blocking the path completely. The lion tried roaring, he tried nudging, he even tried pushing the bear with all his strength, but the bear didn't move an inch. Too. The forest was stuck with a snoring giant who wouldn't wake up. Frustrated, the lion circled around the sleeping bear and discovered that the bear's thick fur was tangled in a web of vines. The more the bear rolled in his sleep, the tighter the vines twisted. The lion couldn't free him alone. He was too big, the vines too knotted, and the lion's claws too large to pull apart the delicate strands without tearing into the bear's skin. The lion sighed. "What am I supposed to do now?" he muttered. "Day." That's when a tiny voice answered from behind him. "Maybe I can help." The lion turned and saw the little mouse he had spared days earlier. The mouse twitched his whiskers and looked at the snarled vines. "I can fit between the strands. Let me try." The lion hesitated. The situation felt hopeless, but he remembered the mouse's promise. Maybe, just maybe, this tiny creature really could help. "Go ahead," the lion said. The mouse scampered toward the giant bear, carefully climbing onto his fur, inch by inch. He squeezed into the vines and began nibbling gently. Each bite loosened a knot. Each tug freed a strand. Slowly but surely, the vines began to unravel. As the mouse worked, the bear snored loudly, sending bursts of warm air that nearly pushed the mouse off balance. But the mouse held on and kept going. The lion watched anxiously, pacing back and forth. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, with one last bite, the final vine snapped loose. The sleepy bear shifted, rolled onto his back, stretched his huge paws, and gave a long, rumbling sigh. The lion quickly stepped back as the bear slowly opened one eye, then the other. "Why was I wrapped like a present?" he mumbled groggily. The lion explained what had happened, and the bear blinked sleepily before giving a grateful nod. "Thank you for freeing me. Next time, maybe I'll choose a better sleeping spot." The lion let out a relieved laugh. "Just try not to block the whole forest next time." The bear chuckled and lumbered off to find a new place to nap far away from any important paths. When the lion turned back to the mouse, his expression softened. He lowered his head respectfully and said, "I owe you an apology. I doubted you. I thought you were too small to make any difference. But today, you saved us all." The mouse puffed out his tiny chest proudly. "I told you I'd help one day." "You did," the lion said, smiling. "And you've taught me something important. Size doesn't matter when it comes to courage or kindness." From that day forward, the lion and the mouse became the most unexpected pair of friends in the forest. The lion protected the mouse from danger, and the mouse kept the lion company with stories and laughter. The sleepy bear, meanwhile, became a gentle giant the forest adored. Whenever he fell asleep in random places, the animals would carefully nudge him to safer spots, making sure his naps never caused trouble again. Word of the mouse's bravery spread across the forest. Birds sang songs about him. Squirrels told tales of his daring rescue. Even the oldest trees whispered about the mighty heart inside the smallest creature. The mouse learned that even the tiniest voice can make a big change. The lion learned that strength comes in many shapes and sizes. And the sleepy bear learned, well, maybe he learned to pick better nap spots. Maybe. But most importantly, the entire forest learned that kindness is a circle that always comes back around. One good deed can echo louder than a lion's roar, stretch farther than a bear's paw, and shine brighter than the sunlit leaves above. And if you ever find yourself thinking you're too small, too quiet, or too ordinary to make a difference, remember the little mouse who freed a giant and taught a king what true strength looks like. Because no matter who you are, your heart can be mighty, your actions can be powerful, and your kindness can change the world in ways you never imagined. And that, my friend, is how the lion, the mouse, and the sleepy bear discovered that every creature, big or small, loud or quiet, wide awake or very, very sleepy, has a special part to play in the grand story of life.